and let us all do we can to build a better future.
A serious question was brought up on Morning Blow. The full-blown discussion. I hope you're sitting down for this one. This is a big brain question. Should Biden debate Trump? I know. Now, look, throughout my lifetime and your lifetimes, your parents' lifetimes and your grandparents' lifetimes, all of us, we have seen presidents debate. They got to. Simple as that. Now, Trump did something historic where, he didn't show up to the Republican primary debates, and still he won because he was the only thing that they were talking about. The Democrats are not doing any kind of debates whatsoever. And I think this is the first time ever we're witnessing something that perhaps we've never even seen before for a general election where there potentially could not be a debate. Now, look, this debate between Trump and Biden will be nothing more than two old men fighting over a cold bowl of soup. However, I do want to see it for entertainment values because, I know what to expect from a Trump-Biden debate. We saw it the first time around, but maybe Trump will bring more fire because, let's face it, his 2020 campaign was lackluster in my opinion. Maybe this time around he'll have more political ammunition. But because Trump is gaining momentum, because he is leading in key swing states, and Biden and Kamala's approval rating is falling into the toilet, it's very clear that the White House and its entire staff will do everything they can to make sure that Biden doesn't debate Trump. So this is from Case Study QB. It's safe to assume the White House doesn't want to debate Trump, so they are using mainstream media to manufacture consent around the idea of Biden not debating because Biden can't put together a coherent sentence. So let's go ahead and watch corporate media try and worm their way out of this one, or use it at make a way for Biden not to be part of the debate, not to be part of the discussion. So there you go. So let's go ahead and play this video. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and get this all set up here so we can all check it out here and enjoy it for our viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and enjoy this video for everybody to check out. So let's do that.
Washington Post is titled, "Should Biden Debate Trump?" Before we dive into that, let's take a look back at some of the notable moments from their two debates in 2020, and one of them, man, Trump was on something.
The question is, Justice, radical left. Will you shut up, man?
Listen, we have ended.
It's two old men arguing. Just had to pause right there. That was funny.
This segment, we're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man. Who would you like me to condemn?
Proud Boys and
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Look here.
Oh, really?
Here.
Oh, really?
Here's the thing.
I sent in the U.S. Marshals to get the killer of the young man in the middle of the street, and they shot him. And for 3 days,
President Trump
Portland wouldn't do anything.
Would you close down the oil? By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would
that's a big
transition.
statement.
The oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
Here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do that.
statement.
Well, if you let me finish the statement, I
Time to
have
respond.
never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is, it's flat lying.
Not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. Well, you have done nothing.
Oh, man. Okay. Hey, I forgot how hilarious the Trump debate can be. Case study. I don't know how you sit through this, buddy. You're made out of stronger stuff than me, okay? I will tip my hat off to you, sir.
Other than the crime bill, which put
Oh, God.
Biden had a senile moment where he just remembered, oh, God, that's right. I did sign that.
Oh, God is right. I'm telling you, why debate that guy? First of all, he doesn't debate anybody else. He doesn't debate Republicans. He doesn't debate Nikki Haley. He doesn't debate anybody. As a Wall Street Journal opinion page said a couple weeks ago, what's Trump going to do? Say, oh, Joe Biden, he's afraid to debate me when Donald Trump has been.
Hey, Morning Blow, you still got some of that cream on the corner of your mouth when way back in 2016, how can we not forget early on when you were kind of really happy to be on board that Trump train? You think we forgot? I know my audience didn't forget. You were hornier than a kangaroo jumping out of hell.
Been living in the fear of debating Nikki Haley now for months. Second thing is the guy just lies. He makes stuff up all the time. So, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, Alexi, in your piece, you're right in part this. I rewatched the 2020 Trump-Biden debate moderated by Chris Wallace. It only confirmed to me that Biden shouldn't do it again. My neck was sore from shaking my head so much. Skipping a debate with Trump, which to be clear is not something the Biden campaign has proposed doing, would be consistent with the selective media strategy so far. It's also true that debates serve a useful purpose. Kathleen Hall Jamieson passionately made a case for them in her 2012 post-op-ed, arguing debates and other televised presentations are conducive to honestly explaining some more complex topics. Still, I'm not convinced another Trump-Biden debate would be worth it. When Trump's on the stage, anxious voters can't expect much honest explanation about anything. They also can't understand, they can't expect.
So real quick here, I want to bring this up here. Zombie in the air writes, Trump derangement syndrome is a sore neck. You're just shaking your head the whole time. Trump, it's Trump. Or is it at? Hold on. Charlie Brown politics. His neck was sore from giving out the blowies. Ooh la la. Let's see. Jesus, you keep this family friendly. This is a family friendly freaking channel. All the time, every time. How dare you, sir? That's Mojo Cream, bro. Oh, man. Anyways, let's play the rest of this.
Any rational discussion of the issues that are the most important to them.
Those clips you showed now, I mean, I'm like stressed internally.
No, why are you stressed? Like, look, I get it. Sometimes covering politics can be, it could really put a pain in your soul, right? But you got to suck it up and you got to go through it. You can't get stressed out by it. That's just those debates were just a blip on the radar. You got to move on to the next thing. You can't let it stress you out. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of health problems.
The crosstalk, I'm like, I hate conflict. I hate this. But you can
hate conflict. That's what politics is all about.
barely even get a word in edgewise. I could barely understand what they're discussing. When Joe Biden would try to answer a question in good faith, Trump would give him maybe 3 to 5 seconds and then jump in with something totally derailing it. He's more erratic than ever before, Trump. The Hunter Biden issue, the trials, the investigations, every other word from Trump would be screaming about Hunter Biden, the corrupt Biden family. It would be a disaster for everyone and not helpful to anyone.
But it was factual. The Hunter Biden laptop story was real. And corporate media did everything they could to make sure to cover up that story until it was revealed that it was true. Yeah, that's the thing. Turns out it was true. And so, yes, Trump has every right to use that as political ammunition.
Any voters. Plus, people know their characters. I think the debate between Trump and Biden would mostly just show their personality and character at this point, and everybody knows exactly who these two men are. So we don't need 2 excruciating hours of them yelling over each other.
Well, and Peter Baker with Donald Trump, he has become more erratic. He has become more radical. He has become louder over the past several years and plays by absolutely no rules. And it seems to me, if you're going to have a debate that enlightens and informs, you have to have 2 people. Let's go back to 2012. You have to have Barack Obama and Mitt Romney.
Oh, yeah. That was a great one. Snorefest. You had Obama and Romney. You had Obama and his hope and change and hope. Implementing neoliberal policies and screwing you over. His administration gave rise to the Trump administration. And then you had Mitt Romney, binders of women. Okay, Mitt, I didn't know you rolled like that, you playboy, you devil, you dog, you. But boy, oh boy, I remember 2016, the Democratic primary debates until we found out that Bernie was a cuck. Hell, even the 2016 Republican primary debates were entertaining as hell. Why would you reference that one? That's Snorefest. Romney and Obama.
Who who will at least follow basic guidelines so people can learn about the issues and the candidates. We would not have that here with Donald Trump.
Part of the problem is that a debate is meant to test candidates and to show whether they have command of the issues and to force them to answer questions that are uncomfortable. So if we don't have a debate, fine, but are there going to be other opportunities for us to do that with these two people, these two men? And that's a real problem because neither one of them, frankly, is taking questions from hard questioners. Of course, Donald Trump did give an interview to Kristen Welker for Meet the Press, and Joe Biden has from time to time given interviews to Stephanie Ruhle and others from this network, for instance. But broadly speaking, neither one of them is doing the kind of interviews and taking questions in a hard way from reporters that previous generations have, and that's a real problem.
And that matters because I've gotten emails from readers who are like, I'd love to see a Trump-Biden debate because I want to see just how much or whether each man has mentally declined since 2020.
Yeah. I'm glad that her readers are saying it. Like, hey, look, I kind of want to see that. Has Joe Biden declined? The answer is yes. And is Trump angry for revenge? Oh, absolutely. Look, I mean, I know what to expect from Donald Trump, all right? But Democrats, you put all your eggs in one basket for Biden. And sooner or later, he has, if you think your dog has that fight in him, then he has to debate Biden. He has to do it. This isn't open for a discussion. He has to do it.
And I think that's something else that people could potentially glean from a debate like that. But I mean, Biden is older, not necessarily as sharp as he was in 2020.
Uh-oh. You should not have said that. I could see the producer yelling in her ear, yelling, don't say that. Don't say that. But he is. He's old. He's 81. He's 81 years old. He has no business in the White House.
I think it would be a little more difficult to keep up with someone like Trump this time around, who, as we have said, is more erratic, more unpredictable, and views something like this as not an exchange of ideas or defense of his own ideas, but sort of like a backyard brawl.
Well, will it be a couple of hours of insults? And again, if you're Donald Trump's team, if you're Donald Trump, what are you going to say if Joe Biden is like, no, I'm not gonna get down in the mud with the pigs here. I'm not gonna debate. What's he gonna say when Chris Christie was calling Donald Trump a coward? Debate after debate after debate for Donald Trump being afraid to debate Chris Christie.
So they're gonna bring up Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. I mean, Chris Christie, because Christie was calling Trump a coward, but Trump, did the whole Uno reverse. He was able to get more viewers to events and town halls and interviews that were taking place in the same day. So Trump's able to command more of a viewing audience. And they're going to try and equate Chris Christie calling Trump a coward, and people might be calling Biden a coward now. And they're going to give the excuse of, oh, it's okay for Biden not to do this.
What's he going to say when Nikki Haley is saying, challenge him to one debate after another debate after another debate, and he's afraid to debate them too? He can't just decide after saying no to 16, 20, 30 debates that, oh, wait, now I want to debate this one time. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, refusing again and again in this case to debate Nikki Haley, thinking he's punching down in some way. He thinks he's already wrapped up the nomination, but perhaps it's more likely that she's smart, experienced, nimble, young, vital, all the things that maybe he's not, and might run circles around him in a debate. And to Alexi's point, John, that was the clips we just watched were 3.5 years ago. Those two men were 3.5 years sharper, perhaps, than they are now. Is the White House, is the Biden campaign expecting debates this fall?
Yeah, both men look different today than they did in those clips from 3.5 years ago. I think this expectation of debate probably does not happen. First of all, Trump and his turned the Republicans along with him against the debate commission, suggesting they were biased against them. They had rigged previous debates. Remember this nonsense about the microphone, and of course there was, and then last time around, because he got COVID and there was a real suggestion that he had COVID in that first debate. So therefore the committee tried to make the second one remote. He said no. So there's a
Oh, yes, because COVID. Have to bring that one up again. Dusting off everything they can.
A lot of bad blood there between Trump. We'll see if that would even happen. It might have to be under the umbrella of a different organization. That would be complicated. The Biden people I talked to do think that if Trump says he's going to debate, and if he really goes through with it, and Trump has said he wants to, they probably have to. They feel like that it would look like he's ducking them. And also just because Biden and Democrats are just for the, fancy themselves, Joe, on like the side of good, and debates are good inherently for an election. They're the defenders of democracy. We should have debates. That the Biden would sort of be boxed in, would probably have to go through with a debate if Trump really wants one. But they certainly have ways out of it, as you just listed, to say that, well, this guy hasn't participated in any debates. Why should we give him that opportunity? But I think, Joe, there's a sense that the people I've talked to in the Biden campaign think that at the end of the day, Trump will blink and it won't actually happen.
Well, I think Trump could blink. You go back, and if I'm running Trump's campaign, God help me, and I'm not saying this, I'm not being facetious. I'm very concerned about a guy that goes out at night, gives a speech in front of a friendly crowd, and he can't remember who he ran against in 2016. He can't remember who he ran against in 2020. He can't remember who he's running against in 2024. He chokes the name Obama out of his mouth.
That's because Trump doesn't care about his opponents. Trump only cares about himself and those that could do things for him, okay? Just like any other politician, just like anybody else, okay? You think he's going to worry about any of them? Because as soon as you remind him, he's going to say, oh, yeah, there's Lying Ted. You bring up Ted Cruz. You'll be like, oh, yeah, that was Lying Ted. Or either that, he's going to bring up low energy Jeb. Remember Jeb? Jeb who says, oh my God, I can't believe Jeb said this. This the way he worded it is like a kid who gets bullied, right? I eat nails and bullets for breakfast. That's all you had? That's all. Or how about little boy Rubio? I mean, come on. All of them are open for ridicule.
And then comes back to it because it's the only name that his brain can retain. Of course, we know what happened when he started, he's like, Nikki. And then went on, again, did the same sort of thing where he sort of choked her last name out, went on to talk, and then he came back to Nikki Haley, who he thought was Speaker of the House. Caddy.
Yeah, but Biden has, whoa, Biden ain't no spring chicken. Biden's remembering dead leaders who were dead like 10 or 20 years ago. Biden says he went to jail with Nelson Mandela.
Maybe they bluff. Maybe the Trump team bluffs. But it just takes.
Oh, wow. That face right there. I mean, I'm only pausing to hear because this is a face of, she probably wakes up in the morning, looks herself in the mirror and says, all right, come on. You could do this. You got to sit at Morning Blow's table. You got to somehow push through the day. Come on. You could do it. It's like she's thinking, why am I here? Why am I here?
Takes something like that with Donald Trump, who seems far more prone to making these type of mistakes. Because if Joe Biden says Mexico instead of Egypt, he completes the thought and he comes back and he's explaining the process and he comes back.
Whoa, hold on, Joe. Are you giving an excuse for Joe Biden for getting or mixing up the president of Egypt and president of Mexico? Because look, Mexico and Egypt, two different things altogether. Just like that scene from Sopranos where Bobby Bapalaka and Tony Soprano are at the diner. They're eating food. They're talking about everything. And then 9/11 gets brought up. And you know what? The brilliant Bobby says, Quasimodo, he predicted all of this. Tony says, what? Yeah, Quasimodo, the end of the world. You ever ponder that? To which Tony Soprano had to say, Nostradamus. Quasimodo is the hunchback of Notre Dame. Nostradamus and Notre Dame. Two different things altogether. Mexico and Egypt. Two different countries altogether. Two different people altogether. I better not see anyone type in the comments section below, oh, what, kid? You never pondered that? Come on. Don't start with me, audience.
Far more prone to making these type of mistakes. Because if Joe Biden says Mexico instead of Egypt, he completes the thought and he.
I'm sorry. We're going to listen to that one more time.
And retain. Of course, we know what happened when he started. He's like, Nikki. And then went on again, did the same sort of thing where he sort of choked her last name out, went on to talk, and then he came back to Nikki Haley, who he thought was Speaker of the House. You know, Caddy, maybe they bluff, maybe the Trump team bluffs, but it just takes something like that with Donald Trump, who seems far more prone to making these type of mistakes. Because if Joe Biden says Mexico instead of Egypt, he completes the thought and he comes back and he's explaining the process and he comes back to Egypt and Sisi. That's something that Donald Trump's not been capable of doing. And you go back and you look at debates, 1976, Gerald Ford makes the blunder on Poland. It may have cost him the presidency. 88, Michael Dukakis finished himself off for good when he had that answer about Kitty Dukakis from Bernie Shaw. I think they're trying to protect Trump a bit more because he goes out and he loses a train of thought and starts saying really stupid things. So I'm not so sure you're
I mean, come on, man. Morning Blow, you're not doing yourself any favors.
going to have the Trumpers eager to have this debate.
I mean, one thing that you know, a debate with Trump is never going to be, Alexi, is an honest explanation of complex topics. That's not going to happen. And what is the Trump campaign worried about? When I speak to them, they feel like they're in a good place in terms of their lining up policies. They think their operation is getting better. They've got a plan for the first 100 days, which they didn't have first time around. The one thing they're worried about, Donald Trump. They're worried about the kinds of things that might come out of his mouth. Well, if he's in a debate situation like we saw him just there, getting exercised and emotional, that is when Donald Trump says things like Nikki Haley's a bird brain, or, you know, he denigrates people, or he's rude about people, or he throws out gratuitous, offensive things. That's what his campaign is worried about him doing on the stump anyway, because who does that alienate? All of those suburban voters we were talking about in the first half of the show,
and
from Philadelphia and Atlanta.
By the way, Katie, he mangles the English language when he's reading the teleprompter.
Yeah.
Both Trump and Biden are one and the same. There's no difference, folks. There is no difference.
He loses his train of thought and gets lost even when he's reading the teleprompter.
And to some extent, he's always done that, and his diehard supporters forgive him for that anyway. I think it's the gratuitous, offensive things that he says that particularly worry the campaign in terms of turning off suburban women voters.
Yeah.
And in a high tense debate situation, that's where he could do that. That's where Biden, if he was on form and quick enough, could goad him into doing something like that.
So, folks, what can we take away from this? This was the opening shot for corporate media to telling all the vote blue, no matter who, liberals, that it's A-okay for Biden not to attend the debates. That's A-okay for Biden to be how he is. That's A-okay. AOC. So that there won't be any more exposure of Biden being senile. Folks, it's a clown world. Clown world altogether. And this is what corporate media is trying to do. This is what it's trying to tell voters. It's telling voters, it's telling all of you people that stop questioning things, accept Biden as your nominee, and shut up. It's going to be very curious to see how the DNC convention plays out. It's going to be curious to see if they actually go all in with Biden. Because I do have to think, in theory, that they have to pick somebody else. It's abundantly clear. There's going to have to be at least one presidential debate. A debate is going to have to take place. And I know it's going to be extremely painful, but yes, we here at Hard Lens Media will talk about it. We will cover it. I hope it's hilarious, and I hope it does happen. But nonetheless, this is why we need independent media, because corporate media is trying to give reassurances and platitudes to people who are triggered by Donald Trump because they're foaming at the mouth about Trump all the time. What do you expect? We told you he was going to run again in 2024 after the 2020 election cycle. I knew it. Daniel knew it. RBN knew it. Jimmy Dore knew it. Due Dissidents knew it. All of you knew it. It was going to happen. The mental gymnastics from corporate media is phenomenal. But it's to be expected. It is to be expected because they know that they have to do their job in protecting the Democratic establishment. But just remember, who profited a lot from the Trump administration? corporate media. Why? Because everything Trump did brought in the one thing that all corporate media cares about. No, not holding power accountable. He brought in the views. It's always about the dollars, my lovelies. It's always about the dollars.